Hey guys, so I'm going to show you guys how I do my brows. I got requested recently to do a more detailed brow tutorial on how to achieve a perfect brow. I have a few brow tutorials up with different products, so I'll link those all down below so you guys can see all the different ways I do my brows. I do my brows differently depending on the occasion. This brow that I'm going to teach you guys today is just a nice, soft, everyday, natural, detailed brows. So yeah. Excuse my hair, it is air drying right now, so it looks a little crazy, and I'm actually just going to clip it out of the way. Okay, so you're not going to need a lot of products. The only thing you're going to need is a concealer. I use a concealer that is, as you can see, it's lighter than me, and this is the MAC Studio Finish in NW40. And I like to use a stiff concealer because I just like the way it sculpts out the brow better. Some people use liquid. I use liquid sometimes too, but I use this because it just sculpts it out better, especially if you haven't cleaned them up. You're going to need a primer. The primer I'm going to be using is the Urban Decay Primer Potion. I use this because I do use shadows, and I just want to make sure that they last all day. I'm going to use two brow pencils in dark brown and brown, and they're both from Jordana, and these are the colors of them. Two different colors. I use two different colors because I use the lighter color closer to the inner part, and then I use the darker one closer to the outer part to get that nice fading effect. So I use two brow pencils, and then I use two brown eyeshadows from the BH Party Girl palette. BH Cosmetics makes the best browns to me, so these two browns are the two browns that I am going to be using. You can use any browns, you just need a light one and a dark one. And then you're going to need 4 brushes. The brushes never change. I always use the same 4 brushes. It's going to be, of course, the brow brush and comb, or you can use a spoolie. A nice fluffy brush. This one's from Eco Tools, and I use this to blend out the concealer. And 2 angled brushes, a really small one and then a bigger one, and both of these are stiff brushes just to make sure that I'm getting everything really detailed, and it helps me make hair-like appearances. So starting out, I'm just going to brush my brows into place, and hopefully, you know, I can do this like in the camera. So you're going to brush them into place. Very, very simple. I brush mine up. I'm able to do that because I trim my brows to where if I brush them up, I have no extra hair out. It's just naturally, you know, showing. As you guys can see, my brows are funky. As you can see, I don't have a tail on this side, and I don't have a front on this one, so it's really weird. I'm actually growing them out right now, so that way I can get them nice and full and then redo them. But my eyebrows are naturally arched and thin, so yeah. To maintain your brows, the only thing that I do is I tweeze. I just use a regular little tweezer, and I just clean up. Because my brows are naturally thin and already kind of arched, I don't have to get them waxed or anything. But if you go and you get them waxed and all that, you can do that also. So once they're in place, I go into my primer, and I just use a very little bit. I don't need a lot. Don't need a lot at all. And I'm just going to show you guys this brow. And then I just take my finger and I just kind of like pat it in, and I put a little bit, whatever's left on my finger, in the front. So yeah, I do that, and let me kind of like, yeah, like that. So I just kind of like pat it in, and I know you can see my tracks, whatever. So you just pat that in like that. I take the brush and I kind of just rebrush them into place. The first thing I'm going to use is the dark brown pencil from Jordana. I got these from Walgreens for like 80 cents or something. You want to make sure your pencils are sharpened so that way you're getting very precise lines. So what I do is I just trying to like look into the camera and look in the mirror at the same time. So I kind of just little strokes. Okay, so little strokes going out, and I make them kind of long because when I do the concealer, I clean them up to the exact length that I want them to be. And then I just take this and I kind of like fill in a little bit like that, and then I just kind of connect them, and I have to be very precise because I don't have a tail in, so I have to make one. So I try to be very precise, and since I'm going to clean them up, I don't really necessarily worry about messing up. I just want to get the shape down. Okay, so as you can see, I've drawn a perfect eyebrow. Okay, and then I just kind of take the pencil and fill it in just a little bit. And then I switch to my light brown pencil so I can go ahead and fill in the front. To do the front, I just do the exact same thing, but I do faster, smaller strokes because I don't want this to be too heavy in the front. So I'm just doing this, nothing special. And then I just kind of drag it back to the back just to make sure that the colors are nice and blended, as you can see. And then I kind of just take the brush again and I just kind of brush the front out a little bit just to make sure there's no harsh lines. And then going into my palette, I'm going to start off with the dark brown eyeshadow and my smaller angled brush. So going into the dark brown shadow, I'm just going to fill in my brow even more, and this is just to set the eyeliner into place because eyeliners do smudge sometimes, although I don't have an issue with the Jordana ones, but this is just to make sure to kind of set it into place and also to fill it in even more. And then using the same brush, I'm just going to switch over to the lighter brown, and then I'm just going to dust it through the front because I don't want it to be too harsh. So I just kind of dust it through the front, and it looks like that. Okay. And then lastly, the very last step, well, not the very last step, and there's also one other step that I didn't mention, but I'll mention it. But anyway, is concealer. Using my EcoTools angled brush, I'm just going to get some concealer. I put a lot of concealer on my brush just because, you know, I just want to make sure I have enough concealer on there. So I'm just going to get concealer all over the brush. And I'm just going to follow the arch. I always start off by putting like concealer like there. I don't know why I do that. I just do. And I'm just going to follow my arch down like that. So I just followed the arch and brought it down, and I kind of like drag that. And then I just take little light strokes because I don't like a lot of concealer towards the front. So I just kind of take very lightly. Very lightly in the front area. Like so. And that's it. That's pretty much all I do. I don't put concealer on the top. That's my personal preference. You, of course, can do whatever you want. And then I just kind of like take this brush, which is the Fluffy EcoTools. This is actually an eyeshadow brush from EcoTools, but it does really good for blending. So I just kind of like take my finger, lift my brow, and I blend it out. Really good. And then I even take my finger to really blend it out. And I just kind of like try to blend it out as much as possible. That's pretty good. Because once I put on foundation and everything and like my eyeshadows, that kind of dies down and looks a little bit more natural. So that's how I do my brows. And then to set my brow, I actually use this e.l.f. What is it? It's a wet gloss for lash and brow clear mascara. And as you can tell which side I use for my brows because it's kind of dirty looking. And I just kind of take it very lightly and run it through my brow once I'm finished because it just kind of sets it in place all day, like all day. Like I love this stuff a lot. I need to get a new one because the brow part is getting kind of dirty. But it looks like that when you're finished, and that's all I do for my eyebrows. Like I've kind of gotten really used to doing my brows now to the point where I'm starting to do them almost every day. So, you know, it just takes practice. As you guys can know, like if you watch like all the old eyebrow videos to now, you'll definitely see the difference in my brows. You're like, oh, they look better now. So definitely I would say this is how I do them more so every day. Of course, you can go as dramatic as you want or as light as you want. I've been doing them pretty dark lately because my hair is black right now. So yeah, that's how I do my brows. Pretty much. To me, it's nothing special, but you guys wanted to see it, so I definitely wanted to show you. So I hope that was helpful. I'm gonna, of course, do the other one now so I can move on to the rest of my face. And thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.